So I'm learning a lot about it too. So it's going to be hard for me to challenge that. I went in here once when you said the title, I was like, I can't wait to kind of go back and forth with
Yeah.
it. And obviously the more and more you talked about it, the more and more I'm like, oh, well, son of a gun. It's true because I see it in my everyday life
Mm-hmm.
with Diana. I see it with my family and how dependent you really are on somebody and you're not in it alone. So it's, I wanted to challenge you on the whole thing. So I think instead of doing that, I think it'd be good to kind of move into a direction of where how grateful I think, at least myself, and I'm sure to have people that we can depend on to help get us through, whether it be a bad time, whether personal, business, across the board, and just how I truly like gratitude. Like I feel genuine gratitude behind it. I'm just curious to hear how we hear it in the talk, but almost that feeling of, wow, like without other people, you're just not going to get there.
Right.
It's a business thing. Even with without other businesses, you just don't get there on your own. You can't.
No.
From a physical, earthly perspective, it's just not how it works. Just want to kind of just pick your brain on that. Like so you depend on Tiff from both I'm just going to use Tiffany for an example. Where do you feel in aspects of your life you really depend on her to pull through to allow you to continue to live life the way that you live life?
Wow. It's wow, Ralph. You know, Mama, I really, really hit the lottery with Mama. I did. I mean, totally one out because Tiff, not only do I count on her for our, to fulfill the need to be needed that I have, because everyone has a need to be needed. And my wife fulfills that need so great and so grand that I have such a sense of peace all the time. And that's like the intimate relationship part of it all, right? Then there's the mother part of it all. Like Tiff is such a spectacular mom. I mean, right now the kids have a fever. This morning at 3 a.m., her phone's going off, the alarm's going off to get up to go give Joseph his medication. And you can count on her 100,000%. So there's the mother part of it all. Then there's the business part of it all. I mean, you know how we have a 401k at the winery, right? If it wasn't for Tiff, that thing wouldn't happen.
I see.
It's just that simple. And it's a bear to manage. There's a lot going on. Every payroll, she has to calculate it all, figure it all out, right? And submit it all. Payroll, if it wasn't for Tiff, I mean, Tiff does payroll every 2 weeks. And it's a big deal. There's usually like about 100 people to pay. And without Mama, it wouldn't happen. All the bill paying, Tiff pays every single bill of Blue Ridge Winery. I don't think about it. I haven't thought about it ever. Not from day one. It's huge, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and at the winery, I mean, there's probably $100,000 of bills a week. There's a lot of bills going on. And Tiff manages it all. And she does it all and makes it look easy. I always say, when you're doing a job, if you're saying like, oh man, it was so hard, it was so challenging, you're kind of revealing yourself because you're saying it was right at my upper level. But if you're just doing it and making it look easy, you're saying, yeah, I'm so good that I can do it and make it look easy. And that's Mama. Tiff, she doesn't complain about anything. She's just
really, man. I know payroll from I would do is complain.
Payroll.
I'd sit back and complain. That's like a brutal thing in itself.
Right. I mean, last night, here's a good example. Last night I went to the gym and it got to be around like 9:00 by the time I was leaving, right? Because it was a busy day at the winery. Tiff was with the kids most of the day. And then here I am coming home from work. I'm like, love, do you mind if I go to the gym? Because I'm dedicated right now. The gym 1 hour every day, high intense, real hard, push you hard. I want to make the World Cup, right? So you got to pay the price now to have to win later, right? And Tiff knows that. She goes, well, I kind of know that if you don't go now, you're going to go at midnight. She goes, yeah, this sounds good. And you can see it weighing on her. She just needed free time. So I went to the gym. I worked really hard, condensed it like a little bit less than an hour, run back home. Like, Mama, go jump in a shower. Well, then the hot water heater was out.
Oh,
I know the pilot light went out. I'm like, when does that thing go out? So she's up there and there's cold water, still not complaining. She comes out and goes, love, there's no hot water up here. I'm like, oh my gosh, really? So I go out and make sure the kids didn't turn the thing on for the gas or turn that little thing off. Go downstairs, turn the pilot lights out, turn it back on. Half an hour later, she got warm water. Positive attitude the whole way. It is my dependency upon Tiff is why Randy can be who he is. It's my dependency upon Jeff at the winery, my dependency upon Sally, upon Teresa, upon you. I mean, if you didn't do what you did, Ralph, for the podcast wouldn't exist. I basically come in here, I dump things onto you, and you just magically make it happen. If that didn't happen, Ralph, we wouldn't be here. It is my dependency upon you that has basically allowed me to reach the world. And it sets me free to do it. Because if I had to do the stuff you're doing, this would not happen. It's just that simple. I mean, it really is our interdependence upon each other that ultimately sets everyone free to be the best of who they can be. And if you want to be successful in this world, surround yourself with the best people. There's a saying that Zig says all the time. He goes, "You cannot possibly fly with the eagles if you're scratching with the turkeys."
With the turkeys,
right? Mm-hmm. Surround yourself with the people that want to be successful and make something of their life. And guys, oh my God, I brag on Jeff at the Underground now because Jeff has truly given me my life back. The winery got pretty big and it swallowed me up. Jeff comes into my life. All of a sudden, he's doing all the things that I would be doing. And because he can do that stuff, I can do other things. My dependence on him has set me free to do the next best thing.
Wow.
Right. I would say no one should ever be afraid of being dependent on people. Put it like this. I'm dependent to a fault. Because if I lost you, Ralph, I'd lose the podcast.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I do this and to kind of piggyback off of that is, so when we did the documentary, at the end of the documentary, if you watch, you say that you're going to be in Time magazine one day and it's going to be how a wine company could change the world. Mm-hmm. And when you said that, I don't know if I took that on myself to go, great, like, let's do it. But I don't know. I watched that. Like, I almost watch the documentary once a month, and I just to like refresh. I don't know. It's not like an ego thing. It's just
I watched it a couple nights ago.
I do, just to like it's such a positive message to go through. Those of you that haven't watched it, this is, I guess, a shameless plug.
Right,
Back in 2019, we did a documentary.
It's such a good movie.
It is. It's a 48-minute or 44-minute long documentary about Randy, the creation of Blue Ridge, and how it's literally it's about a winery, but the documentary is not about wine at all.
Right.
But I always watch it for that ending piece. And ever since we've done that, there's always just been this mental, like, yeah, you'll be in Time magazine. And I hope I can get with whatever I can provide to you from a business side or even a friend side to get you to that level. That's what I'm here for. But the dependability, I think that's such a huge thing, because it's very hard to find people that you can rely on and depend on in business, I feel.
When it comes to this stuff, like, I've been burned in the past. We've talked about it on the podcast here. Remember the Star Medical, the lady stole $50,000? But remember the key is to never allow the negative on the outside to get on the inside. Don't ever let one person burning you and letting you down and hurting you to ever go, that's it, no one's going to hurt me now, and put yourself in your own little prison, right? Because a lot of times that does happen. Someone lets you down and go, that's it, I'm going to take out what they did to me on everybody else in my life. And ultimately, you're punishing yourself for the rest of your life because of what someone else did to you, right? And this is the key to hold on thing. Always be vulnerable. The true sign of courageousness is vulnerability. It's not possible to be courageous without being vulnerable. It's just not. I mean, think of the Olympic skier in the Olympic start with the world watching, kind of vulnerable. I mean, one slight mess up and the world has seen you, and you only get one shot at this. But so to be courageous, you got to be vulnerable. And it's true with this dependency stuff, where if you really want to accomplish great things in this world, find people you can lean on.
Yeah.
And lean on them. I've noticed that the more I lean on them, the easier my life becomes, and the better I can focus in on the few things that I'm good at.
Because you're getting the job done. Well,
exactly.
Those people
it'll happen.
It's getting done, so you don't have that mental stress of not. It's there. It's almost like you're taking that. I don't want to call it a burden, but you're taking that issue and trusting somebody else to do it.
Yep.
And in return, they have your back. So it's just a mutual understanding and it's a mutual respect across the board.
Yep. You've heard me say this sentence before. It's the sentence that Blue Ridge, it captures the essence of the group dynamics of Blue Ridge Winery. It goes like this: great relationships amongst the group will create autonomy amongst the people, which allows all of us to leverage the trust between us to then extend the influence on the rest of the world in a positive way. That's it. That's right. Because of that. Because I can count on Lizzie to do what Lizzie needs to do, I then can go do other things. And I'm free to do what I want to do, and so is she. Yeah. I mean, it played out this morning. We're doing a big sale this weekend on a couple of wines. It's going to be sunny. We're to build on it, right? And last night I sent an email out to everyone saying, can we create a flyer? Let's advertise it. And then this morning I sent an email back to Sally saying, hey, yeah, could you create this? Because Sally goes, yeah, let me know what I can do. And I go, yeah, could you create a flyer? Well, I go down there. Lizzie already had it done.
Wow.
Right. And there it is. It is our interdependency that ultimately sets everyone free. It was already done. How neat, right?
Yeah, because it just makes you feel, and it's good, because anything good is supposed to happen essentially in that regard. So it's almost like this seamless continuity that just never ends, right?
Yeah. It's true.
That's so cool.
Yeah, great stuff. But it really is true. It is our interdependence that ultimately sets everyone free to be independent.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Love that.
Thanks, Ralph, man.
Thank you, Randy.